Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. In today's video, we are talking should you pull Tasi. Now, I have mine at Supreme and I've done a bunch of testing with her. I haven't had time to make the testing video before it's time that she comes out on Global, so I wanted to get this video out first, and then I will do some more showcases of my Supreme Tasi over here on the test server. Now, with Tasi, first of all, let's talk one copy. I think for newer accounts, one copy is going to be great. She has some unique usage. For an advanced account where you got a bunch of Supreme Pluses, I don't think it's really going to be worth it at one copy. Now, as we move on past that, that's pretty much the TLDR for that. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Now, as for the mid-level spenders, I have an interesting take on Tasi, and that is like that's probably the range where it's best to wait and see, because even though I do think she is good in PvP, I do think she is good in AFK stages. Whether she is good enough to compete if you've got all the units built, like if you've got your Scarlita built, if you've got Dionel built, like I don't know if she's going to slot into those best teams for you guys in PvP most specifically, but also in AFK stages. If you have a ton of things built up, do you want to buy this character that maybe doesn't slot in? On the flip side, you do still have your swap, so provided that the next two S levels are meta and you decide you don't like Tasi as much, you can use that swap. But once again, she is going to be focused on the PvP and AFK stages, and I think for free to play, a lot of people who are free to play who don't have a ton of things built, she's going to be great in those areas. For those mid-level spenders that do have some more of the luxury units built, kind of wait and see and see how some of the other whales start using her in mainly PvP. We'd be looking to see if she will slot into a team. Otherwise, you know, if she's not good in the bossing and then she doesn't go into your best PvP teams, you're kind of not really going to use the character at all. So that's my take for like those mid-level spenders. Giga whales, you're maxing everything anyway, so that's cool. For free to play, the unfortunate thing is she's not really a bossing unit. I may use her in Awesome Fight because I don't have a Lenya built up, and she might get me better there because every 6 seconds she's going to do 2 little stuns, and then after she uses her ult, she's going to spam stuns. So I think she will be actually decent for Awesome for keeping the stacks down if you don't have a Lenya built. But besides that, I don't think I'm going to get any bossing usage out of her. I just don't think that's what her kit is designed for. I think she is designed to be that AFK stage / PvP type unit, and that is where she sits. So if you're a free-to-play player and all you care about is those is ranking up in your bossing, she isn't going to be it. But having said that, I mean, the Supreme Arena does give some decent rewards. I haven't actually weighted up to find values. I should really value out the different game modes in their raw values for currency. But at the moment, I still think Dream Realm is the peak one. So unfortunately, she's not going to have that Dream Realm usage. But I do think for a lot of free-to-play players, she could help you in your arena rankings and stuff like that. So that is where you've got to make your decision. Just know that if you pull for Tasi, you're not pulling. She's not the Dream Realm unit that you like. Don't be surprised when she doesn't go into any of the Dream Realm themes. She may do. If she does somehow, I will cover it. But at the moment, she is there as a PvP and a PvE unit. Once again, only had about 1 day of testing with her at Supreme, not Supreme Plus, and I think she is quite fantastic. Now, let me just take you on a couple quick TLDR things about Tasi that you need to know before you go in and use her. Her cheat death, which is this one I showed in my previous video. No, which is this one. Yeah, this one. She can go from 100 to 0 and not proc this. If this was guaranteed to proc, she would be a lot better, but unfortunately, she can get overshot and she can insta-die without even procking this once. That is a very, very important thing. Also, I did show in my previous one, she does have a pretty good charm ability where we get the increased damage taken by the enemies after she puts control effects, and because she's always doing the control effects, even with her 0.5 second stun, it is super nice. But those are the key things about her. Now, the next thing I want to mention is, if you are going to go ahead and summon for Tasi, especially as a free-to-play player, I think she is a prime candidate to go to Mythic Plus / use your Acorns to get her to Supreme, and then stop, wait for her to come back to the Standard, start saving all your Standard pools and your Epic pools, and then try and get your last 2 copies from the Epic banner. This is a really nice ability, especially for PvP. Gaining the extra attempts to basically cheat death. But I don't think it's one that, especially as free to play when you're so limited on resources, I don't think it's one that you must have. Now, the other consideration is if you're pulling for her, we do have the reset. We do have the swap ticket. And if you're only getting her to Supreme, even if you don't get those additional copies of her from the standard banner when she comes to the standard banner, and let's say we get, Hodgkin, and you want to swap for Hodgkin. Well, all you do is pull that one copy of Hodgkin. At least when you swap the Tasi with Hodgkin, Tasi's got some viability at one copy, so at least you got a useful character. And then you can always just pull the extra 2 copies of Hodgkin for that Supreme Plus. So either way, I think it's pretty safe for free-to-play players. If you're a spender, you go nuts. But if you're a free-to-play player, I do think Mythic Plus / Supreme is like the perfect stopping point for her. So that would be my suggestion. Once again, for free-to-play players is the main ones I'm talking to, because spenders, I don't know what you guys are doing, but my free-to-play recommendation works for light spenders as well. I think she will be a really fun... I kind of pair her with Taylene. Like when I pulled Taylene, it was because Taylene was a fun character. I really find Tasi to be a fun character. I like the whole cheat death thing. I like the way she scatters around the field and stuns. I love grouping the enemy team up with Iron. And then when she uses her ult, she just basically she's like a little exploding grenade that keeps exploding in the middle of the enemy team because she doesn't actually have to teleport anywhere. I think it's really cool. I think she's a fun character. I definitely think she has that viability. But once again, unfortunately, she's not on your Lily May type of scale of must pull because she doesn't have that bossing value. At least I don't think she will, and I haven't seen any bossing value in the bosses that we've gone through so far. So just keep that in mind. That is what I am looking at with Tasi. Now I just want to quickly show you guys the kind of teams I've been experimenting with her in. Now, over here, I've been using these kinds of teams where I'm just like, I've been using the beginner team. Sometimes I use Arden, sometimes I use Ludovic, sometimes I use Rowan. And I've just been using like that basic beginner team for here. You can see my deficit there. We're at about a 3 and a bit X deficit. I don't know how the plus 72 comes into it. So anyway, this is where we're at. And I've been using this, and it's actually quite fun, and she works pretty decently in this. And as you can see, we get the Antandri out. Oh, we're going to die to a Thorin here, but yeah, it is what it is. Rowan's already dead, unfortunately. We go ahead and we do the sleep. The enemies aren't grouped up, but the idea with this one is we get through until the Smokey does his damage, and she can just stall until the Smokey can get his damage rolling. So Antandra unfortunately dropped. Tasi unfortunately dropped, so she didn't survive to that point. But that has been my basic strategy at the moment, is using her in like the really free-to-play beginner style of team and see if she can get some oomph out of it. So I'm going to try this actually with Rowan back one tile. And there you go. That's where Tasi can get overshot. So sometimes she can live in that front row. If I do this, yes, it will aid her, but even if she doesn't die, it means that my what's-her-face is in a bad situation for dying. Yeah, so we lose Coco if we do that, unfortunately. Let's have one more little play around here. Can we do something like this randomly? I'm not sure if this will work. Actually, I should have Coco behind Smokey in this situation. But we do get the early sleep, which is quite nice from her. And yeah, like I said, this one, the Thorin's unfortunately probably going to just clap my whole team, and it's going to be sad times. But if he doesn't, then we can start cooking. Okay, we've actually got him to sleep. We might get the Smokey ult before... no, Thorin's going to kill us. Please don't damage... Yes, okay, we didn't get the Smokey damage out yet. Smokey needs to unstun himself. Okay, we got the sleeps. Nice. Smokey damage. Okay. Yeah, so this is kind of what I've been using her with. I've been having fun with this as like using all free-to-play units besides Tasi type option. I think this has been quite a solid performing team. And that's the kind of thing I've been playing with. Hopefully we can get rid of this. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's check her damage against the Smokey, for instance. And as you can see, she does do a fair decent bit of damage. Keep in mind, Smokey does do a good chunk of damage. My Smokey's exclusive equipment is only at plus 10, I think. So we're not getting like massive oomph out of him. Or is that plus 5? I can't remember. Whatever it is. I always forget what the stars are now. But yeah, I've been using that. And then over in Talent Trials, I've been just using basically the wilder teams. This team formation was specific for the last stage that I fought. But yeah, I've been using these types of teams because when you get the 2 wilder spots up, it's really nice to have Arden and her in there, and you can actually like really smash out some damage. But once again, I haven't even started forming a team for this stage in itself. But let's see if she can get her ult off. Okay, now you can see that. See, that's what I'm talking about. That is why Tasi is such a fun character. I love that when the whole enemy team's grouped up and she just starts exploding like a flare. It's really cool. But I do find that enjoyable. She's been working really well in Arena for me as well. If we jump over here. Now, unfortunately, on this account in Arena, I was... I've never pushed this account in Arena. And now that I got my ear on and Tasi, I've started doing some Arena battles. So I hadn't actually done any battles this week until yesterday, and now I've just done the 20 battles. But yeah, I mean, she's pushed me into promotion range on this account. So I'll get promoted, see how she goes in the higher tiers. But I think she has been working really well in Arena. I'll go through some more Arena stuff in a future video and stuff like that. But that's just a basic look at how I've been looking to use her. I definitely still think there's going to be validity behind using her with Almas in like a complete control team with Arden and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to test that yet on this account because I don't have the Almas built up. But those are the kind of things I'm looking at. Like I said, I think she's perfectly viable in AFK stages. I think she's great in Arena. But I do think if you do decide to pull for her, just note you're not going to get any value in Dream Realm, at least that I can see so far. And you are pulling her just for those side aspects of the game. But at the end of the day, if you have fun, I think it's just going to be worth it because, like I said, I'm having fun with her in Arena and AFK stages, and you know, it kind of becomes tedious when you only pull for characters that work in Dream Realm because they work in Dream Realm, so you can get resources so that you can build the next character that only works in Dream Realm. And I'm just like, listen, I'm going to pull something for fun every once in a while. It's what I did with Taylene on my other accounts, what I'm doing with Tasi on this one. But yeah, she isn't going to be the Dream Realm meta unit, but good in the other places. And once again, I recommend for free-to-play players, stop at the Mythic Plus / Supreme, save those resources because it is hard to build up characters, and then try and get the other ones from your standard summons. Because if we go over here for me, you can see I've already got 45 standards saved up, and I've got 1 epic. However, the code just got released over on the test server, so I will have another 10 epics from that code, and I'm just going to save and try and get the last 2 copies from her there. I feel like it's the wise decision for me going forward to be able to spread out my units and have basically a wish list where every unit is a unit I desperately want to pull. Like at the moment, I'm happy to take Tamesia off and put a Tasi on there because I'd much rather get Tasi than Tamesia in the current state. But that is my thoughts on should you pull Tasi. Let me know what you guys are going to do. Just keep in mind, once again, it is very early days, so I will update you guys with any changes, and I will show you guys some more showcases of Tasi in the days coming. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.